It is live.
Okay,
I'll start.
sure.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Devim Udire Bhagavatam Swakato Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vedantastaya Putrani Bhagavatishu Yuksatam Ashtaprayeshu Bhakteshu Nityam Bhagavatsemi Bhagavatyottam Shloke Bhagavati Nestaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, verses, chapter 25, verses 21, 22, and 23. 1. The chapter is titled Lord Krishna Lifts Govardhana Hill. Natras eva karyo adhyastadrini patanat vata varshabhainalam tatranam vihitam vihi ivaha. Synonym. Na trasaha, fear. Yeah, in this matter, by you, karya, should be felt. Mat hasta, from my hand, adri, of the mountain. Nipatanath, of the falling. Vata, of the wind. Varsha, and the rain. Vahena, with fear. Alam, enough. Tat tranam, deliverance from that. Vihitam, has been provided. He, certainly, for you. Translation. By His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, Vivekananda Maharaj and others, you should have no fear that this mountain will fall from my hand, and don't be afraid of the wind and rain, for your deliverance from these afflictions has already been arranged. Text 22, there is no purport to that verse. Text 22. Tatha nirvishurgata gartam तथा निर्विविशुर्गर्तं कृष्णास्वासितमानसः यथावकाशं सधनः सव्रजाः सोपजीविनः तथा thus निर्विविशु they entered Gartam, the hollow, Krishna, by Lord Krishna, Ashvasita, pacified, Manasa, their minds, Yatha Avakasham, comfortably, Sadhanaha, with their cows, Savrajaha, and with their wagons, Sa Upajivinaha, together with their dependents, such as their servants and Brahmana priests. Translation. Their minds thus specified by Lord Krishna, they all entered beneath the hill, where they found ample room for themselves and all their cows, wagons, servants, and priests, and for all other members of the community as well. Purport. All the domestic animals of Vrindavan were brought beneath Govardhan Hill for shelter. Text 23. Shrutrid Vyatham Sukhapikasham Hitvater Vrajavasibhi Vikshyamano Dadharadrim Saptaham Nachalat Padat. Synonyms: Shut, of hunger, thirst, and thirst. Vyatham, the pain. Sukha, of personal happiness. Apeksham, all consideration. Hitva, putting aside. They, by them. Prajavasibi, residents of Praja. Vikshyamanaha, being glanced upon. Nadhar, he held. Adrim, the mountain. Saptaham, for 7 days. Na achalat, he did not move. Padat, from that place. Translation: Lord Krishna, forgetting hunger and thirst and putting aside all considerations of personal pleasure, stood there holding up the hill for 7 days as the people of Vraja gazed upon him. Purport: according to Vishnu Purana, Rajaikavasi Bhirharsha Vismitakshera Nirikshita Gopa Gopi Jane Rishte Priti Visfaritek Sanahe Samstuyaman Charitaha Krishna Shailam Adharayat. Lord Krishna held up the mountain while his praises were chanted by the residents of Vraja, all of whom now had the opportunity to dwell together with him and who glanced at him with joyful and amazed eyes. Thus the cowherd men and women were all elated, and out of loving affection, they opened their eyes wide. By continuously drinking the nectar of the beauty and sweetness of Lord Sri Krishna, the residents of Vrindavan felt no hunger, thirst, or fatigue. And Lord Krishna, by seeing their beautiful forms, also forgot about eating, drinking, and sleeping. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that 7 days of continuous rain from the Samvartaka clouds failed to flood the district of Mathura because the Supreme Lord, simply by his potency, immediately dried up the water as it fell to the ground. Thus, Krishna's lifting of Govardhan is full of fascinating details and has, for thousands of years, remained one of his most famous pastimes. End of quote. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Nitam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Nitam such a Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are reading this chapter which describes Lord Krishna's lifting of the Govardhan hill. And these 3 verses, it's described that Lord Krishna has already lifted the Govardhan Hill to save the residents of Vraja from the torrential rain that was sent by Indra through his Samvartaka cloud. Samvartaka cloud is kept as a reserved cloud that is meant for universal devastation. When it is time for pralaya, those clouds are released, and that pralaya sometimes happens due to water. So when that pralaya it is time, and then by the instructions, order of the Supreme Lord to Indra, and from Indra to Samvartaka clouds, that this devastation is brought about. However, Indra being puffed up and thinking himself the controller, that he is the supreme controller, and that how dare these Vrajavasis stop my sacrifice, was compelled by anger, and in the mode of passion and ignorance, he ordered the Samvartaka cloud out of rotation, like it was not their time for universal devastation, but he nevertheless ordered the destruction of the Vraja village along with all its residents. So Krishna, in order to teach Indra a lesson, first he removes the fear from the minds and hearts of the residents, that do as I say, and that's the highest kind of following, because the residents of Vraja, they listen to Krishna and they don't think Krishna being very much different from them also. They listen to anything and everything that Krishna says without questioning him anything. So they listen to him and they stop the sacrifice, and they're listening to him also. They say that and they are sure that no calamity will come on them because Krishna is there. So Krishna lifts up the Govardhan hill just like an umbrella, a huge umbrella, and brings all the residents of Vraja along with their cattle, cows, or other residents, other priests, all under the Govardhan hill, where they are kept dry for 7 days. And since they were in the company of Lord Sri Krishna, they forgot all about their hunger and thirst. For 7 continuous days, they were drinking the nectar of Lord Krishna's beauty. And in the purport, it says that even Lord Krishna was also drinking the nectar of the residents of Vraja, their beauty. And they all, including Lord Krishna, forgot about the element of time. That's been 7 days. And as mentioned in the purport, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that all that rain caused by Samvartaka clouds could not even flood Mathura, because by Krishna's potency, Krishna kept drying up the rain as soon as it would fall on the land. So it is something like when we experience sometimes in our dream that and we dream sometimes when we are sleeping that we are going somewhere and a week has passed by or a year has passed by, and in a short span of time, like in a few seconds maybe, or maybe a few minutes in our dream, we dream a whole lot of time has passed. And when such a thing is happening, we are not feeling any hunger or any thirst, because in that time, a, a, a whole lot of time in our dream passes by when we are actually sleeping. So there's no question of us feeling thirst and hunger. And sometimes we feel like, we are eating palatable food and a lot of sweets, and we are participating in functions, and but when we wake up, we still feel hungry because we see those things in our dream. And this is also something like Krishna's. So if we analyze these things, how things work, Krishna being the absolute truth, being the absolute supreme personality of Godhead, for him to lift Govardhan Hill against the principles of the nature, against the principles of gravity, is no big deal, because he is in his universal form. This Govardhan is just like a small, tiny little piece of cotton, maybe, which is like less than half an inch. If you compare his universal form in that one little piece of grain, maybe. Okay? For him to lift that is no big deal, because just like in his gigantic body, there's the whole cosmos, the whole arrangement of life cycles of many life cycles of human beings and other animals and other jivas is taking place as we see, and and which is how we get the idea of Brahma. Brahma means like whatever we see in existence, including its planetary systems. Just like how he shows it to Arjuna. The, the whole cosmos condensed for Arjuna to see that everything is within Krishna. So for him to lift Govardhan Hill is not a problem. Then for him to create that impression also to all the residents of Rajavasi that it's torrential rain and that they are safe under Govardhan Hill, because he's holding them up, holding the hill up. And for him to compress the time also, no problem. Several years sometimes go by, and for Krishna, like when he does his rasa dance, rasa lila, it goes on for one full month by the celestial calendar, but it condenses the time. It seems like it's just one night of Sharad Purnima. So for Krishna, nothing is impossible. However, we tend to analyze things from the point of view of material activities, material laws. But Krishna says even in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dhyakshan Prakriti. So under his control, Prakriti is under his control. If the Prakriti of gravitation is for the things to come down to the earth, if that's the nature of things, but that is also under Krishna's control. And by Krishna's control, we see that all these planets, planetary systems, universal planetary systems, not only in this, galaxy, but in several other galaxies, they are all working according to perfect arrangements of Krishna without having anything to do with, like, this is going to fall and that is going to fall. So it's all Krishna's energy, and everything is under Krishna's control. So for him, you know, a, a tiny little mountain to lift is no big deal. Everything is within the body of Krishna and without also. He appears as Krishna himself, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and conducts these wonderful, wonderful pastimes. And this is one such pastime where he is breaking the pride of Indra. So when we read these things, when we hear these things about Krishna's pastimes, each and every one of those, we are filled with wonder again and again, and and we realize that how insignificant we are, and how Krishna makes us the insignificant nobody into somebody very significant by giving us the mercy of devotional service towards himself. So the devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, several acharyas, all pure devotees of the Lord, they are all very, very, very significant personalities now who are worshipped for ages together, for yugas together, and they still disseminate the science, the knowledge of devotional service, the knowledge of spiritual science, and yet we scientists, the scientists of this world are trying to become materially comfortable through some material manipulation of matter, which is also created by the Supreme Lord. If they can manipulate that matter and build a skyscraper, or they can manipulate that matter to make some drugs or make some yantras. But Krishna has given the subtle mantras. And through mantras, we can achieve anything and everything. And most important of the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram 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 Ram, which the vibration reaches up to Golok Vrindavan, the super topmost planet, spiritual planet. Not only this material planet, but it's the topmost spiritual planet. The vibration of this, because Golokar Prem Dhan Hai, Maha Mantra. So this is not mantra from this material world. This is from coming down from Golok, Vrindavan, from the spiritual realm. So we keep worrying about, what it is going to do to us. Okay, my Guru Maharaj told me, let me chant. But one should be very fortunate that even with whatever feeling you chant it, it will still bestow its benefits upon those who are chanting it. But what to talk about those who are chanting it without offense? Because once you start chanting as it says in the Guru this thing, Vandana, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. Once we chant offenselessly, the divine knowledge is revealed to us in our heart. That Divya Gyan is our understanding of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without His mercy, Divya Gyan, Hridaya Prakashito, by who? By the mercy of the Lord, because we are crying for the Lord, chanting for Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. So that's how, out of His causeless mercy, He gives us the divine knowledge by which we can come to Him, by which we can understand Him, by which we can see Him. And what is the condition that He puts? Premanjana Churita, Bhakti Vilochana. So with melted heart, we should do that. And Brajavasis, they are already at that level where they have mitigated the difference between Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and themselves as tiny, followers of Krishna. No. They consider Krishna as one of their own. And Krishna also, for his pastimes, derives immense pleasure by having Brajavasis as his friends, as his mother and father, as his lovers, gopis. So that's the leela that goes on perpetually, and goal for devotees is to participate, get into our original spiritual constitutional position of participating in Krishna's leela, whether as a servant or whether as a Shanta Bhakta or whether as a friend or whether as a mother father feeling, but we have to participate in. We have to one way or the other get the mercy of the Lord so we can reach that stage where we are able to enter into the pastimes of the Lord and participate in serving Him. Because anything one does is basically meant for Krishna's pleasure, whether it is under Madhurya, bhav, or under Vatsalya bhav, or under Sakhya bhav or Dasya bhav. It is all meant to serve Krishna. And even while we are in material world, we have to consider that we are still serving Krishna even while conducting our material duties. Because Krishna is absolute. Everything is His property. Everything is Him. He's non-different from His creation. He and His creation is non-different. So we have to see that we are serving this Mother Earth, or this whatever little job we do, whatever little things, even though we are doing it for an effort, with an effort of out of the feeling of false ego that it is for our sense gratification or our sustenance. But if we do it properly with the feeling that it is Krishna has given us this little allocated, this little work for us, which we need to do perfectly, whether that's serving in the temple or whether that's serving in the so-called workplace, in a factory or somewhere else. Whatever it is, we must do it to the best of our capability, thinking that this is a duty for the sake of the Lord. And then we will eliminate the difference between matter and spirit. And that's how we will be able to go. This is a training ground for us to get rid of our false ego. And that's how we need to awaken our original consciousness and situate ourselves in the right consciousness, which is servitorship of the Lord. Jiva Swarup hoy Krishna Nitya Das. So we have to, under all circumstances, under all time, whether we are in Krishna's external energy, whether Krishna's internal energy, Krishna's marginal energy, whatever it is, we have to Krishna-size our own body through continuous chanting, continuous service. That should be the goal. And if we are successful in always remembering Krishna, never forgetting Krishna, then a large portion of that, or pretty much the job is done. And then it remains our prarabdha that we have to, experience, whether that's for our pleasure, or whether for our good things, or for our bad things, or for our happiness, or for our suffering. We have to accept it from the point of view of neutrality, and remain indifferent to to happiness and distress, knowing that these are temporary phases, and my main job is to be focused, to be in the service of the Lord all the time. These things will come and go like waves, but I have to stay focused in my service to the Lord. I always thinking of Him. I always doing things for Him to the best of my capability. Thank you all for joining in. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. If there are any questions, comments, please feel free to address them. I will try to answer them. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Yes, the prayer, he was talking about the prayer, the Hare Krishna is one of the prayers that the one who was introduced is there's another one.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Nice to.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu.